I am so sorry for the shorts this morning. I really, really am. Elon Musk is in founder mode. And if you've been living under a rock for the last 5 hours, then you might not know that Elon bought $1 billion worth of Tesla stock and that this might have had something to do with the increase on Thursday and Friday, but probably not. It's only $1 billion worth. That's not really a lot in terms of, the daily amount of transactions that are taking place, but it is the largest single purchase by an insider ever. Largest, the number one single purchase by an insider ever. So yeah, that sounds like founder mode to me. Now, they call it an insider trade for a reason. I mean, he's the ultimate insider. He's the CEO or the techno king of Tesla. Therefore, he knows more about it than probably anybody else, knows more about the direction of the company, knows more about the many, many catalysts that are going to be taking place between now and the end of the year, in which I've been talking about here for months. And therefore, Brian Wong sent me a note just a little while ago. He says, "Hey, 1,000 by the end of the year, no problem." So, anyway, it's a very good morning here in Tesla land. And Elon Musk, the biggest bull of them all, just made the biggest insider purchase of all time. Okay, well, the shorts are burned, and what else is going on this morning? There's another headline here, something about Trump says that the talks with the Chinese are going very, very well. He's going to meet with Xi this week, I think on Friday, and there has been a deal made about some little company that people are concerned about. I think we'd all forgotten about TikTok, but I guess maybe TikTok deal has been made. I asked Grok last night. I said, "Hey, Grok, what's going on with Tesla? What can we expect?" And here's what Grok had to say. It says, "As we approach October 2nd, I predict Tesla continuing its uptrend overall, targeting 420 to 450, a 6 to 14% gain from the September 12 low close. Assuming building anticipation for a huge beat on deliveries, 470,000 is a Grok's number, and deployments, 20,000 gigawatt hours. I think that's high. I don't think it'll be 20,000 in the third quarter. This would build on the current momentum with potential dips to 370 to 380. And then post October 2nd, a confirming beat could spark another 10 to 15% surge in earnings later in the month, pushing towards $500 by November if robotaxi news aligns. This isn't guaranteed. Overhyped expectation could lead to a sell on the news, but historical patterns and current buzz substantiate a net positive path. Markets can swing wildly, he says. Grok says. Well, Troy is now at 470,000, so that's the same as Grok. I think I don't have I never make these numbers anymore, but I've been saying, based on what I'm hearing and seeing and everything else, I think 500,000 is certainly in play, but I think it'll be closer to 14 to 15 gigawatt hours in terms of the deployments. But the combination, if we get to 470,000 and 15 gigawatts, we could be looking at 90 cents a share when the company reports somewhere around October 21st, 22nd. And I think that would be bullish as well, very bullish. What's going to happen, though, right now is that the analysts are going to start pulling their numbers up. Now, we're going to be talking a lot about the analysts here in a second, and we'll talk about where people are now, but you're going to see these numbers pulling up now over the next few weeks. By the way, the stock, I don't know, it was around 420 the last time I checked. It's been 428 overnight. I think the low this morning is around 415. Where will it end today? Could get to 440. 440 is kind of one of those numbers, which might be one of those technical highs. We'll see if it doesn't get to 440 today, maybe tomorrow. Anyway, even as Musk and Tesla are already being sued over their robotaxis, we might have already hit a tipping point for self-driving cars. The number one feature the drivers want in their next new car is hands-free driving. That's according to the Auto Pacific Future Attributable Demand Study. Whoa, that's a mouthful, which saw impressive interest in three different variants. Number one, people want hands-off, semi-autonomous driving for highway use only, driver attention required. This would be like the Super Cruise, Ford Blue Cruise, and of course, Tesla does that all day long easily. They want hands-off, fully autonomous driving for all speeds as their second favorite choice. And then finally, hands-off, fully autonomous highway and city driving to a pre-specified destination. This is their least. They want 37% want that, 38% want the previous, and then 43% want just the simple thing that everybody can do now. And the 2025 FADS just might have been a tipping point for advanced driver assistant features in general. They had barely registered on past FADS surveys. Rear auto braking, for example, was the only ADS technology mentioned in the 2024 Auto Pacific study, coming in 9th. So the 2025 version included not only 3 versions of hand-free driving and rear auto braking, but also adaptive cruise control with lane centering and stop-go capacity. Lane changing assistance, rear cross traffic alert with rear auto braking, evasive steering assistance, and large animal detection. So there you go. There's awareness happening with regard to FSD type things. And now people want it. About over a third of the people want this on their car. And it's the number one feature that people are asking about. It says, what's behind the sudden growth in demand, and especially hands-free driving? Well, it would seem like more folks know about these features. The more they know, the more they want them. The bottom line from the FADS research is that awareness and firsthand experience with ADAS were shown to boost interest in the technology, with customer demand dependent more on awareness than actual experience. With that in mind, it's possible Tesla's troubles are having an any news is good news effect on hands-off driving. Since regardless of how well the brand's features work, there's certainly no shortage of news about them, which could explain why the amount of people who agree that I want my vehicle to be able to safely drive itself so I can do other things jumped from 38% to 48% this year. So companies are responding, especially EV makers. All right. We know about what the other companies are doing. Okay, let's see here. Investing.com. Barclays has maintained its equal rate rating with a price target of 275, while significantly raising its third quarter delivery forecast. The investment bank now estimates 465, so they're a little bit under Tritest-like and kind of the general opinion right now, including Grok, but it's still way over the 430, 431 that the street is predicting. This updated forecast represents a sequential increase of 21% from the previous quarter, while remaining relatively flat year over year. Barclays expects Tesla inventory to decrease by 20,000. It's probably going to decrease as low as it possibly can. But now it won't have to really go crazy because we've got this extra time. Anyway, the company maintains gross profit margins of 17%. All right, the firm, despite the anticipated third quarter delivery beat, Barclays notes investors may focus on weaker expected volume for the fourth quarter because of the end of the $750 deal. But Cantor Fitzgerald has reiterated its overweight rating on Tesla, maintains a 355, which used to seem high to some people, noting the compensation plan's potential impact. That would be the Elon Musk compensation plan, the potential impact on the company's valuation. Stifel has maintained its buy rating with 440. It's getting close. Stifel's almost there, describing the milestones as very aggressive. TD Cowen also re-entered its buy rating with a 374. It's been whipped. Baird has a neutral rating with a price target of 320. Well, all of those, except for Stifel, have been blown through. We know that a couple of others are at 400. And of course, at the very top of the list is our good buddy Dan Ives at 500. And Dan's in play now. Dan, you're in play probably by the second. I'm going to say that probably by the second, we're going to pass through all-time highs and on to 500 or more. This is Randy Kirk. You know what to do. The Empire State manufacturing numbers came out this morning, and they are they're here somewhere. I'm going to skip that for now. Let's go on. Mario Nawfal is reporting, could peace be found through the OSCE? Did you ever hear of the OSCE? I hadn't. So it turns out that there's the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. This is a coalition built to prevent conflict, safeguard democracy, and keep dialogue alive. Sounds like what the United Nations was supposed to do. This little known bloc of 57 nations, from the US, the EU, to Russia and Ukraine, is one of the last tables where East and West still meet. The OSCE has no army, but its track record includes monitoring Ukraine after 2014. That didn't work out so well. Mediating in the Balkans and shaping Cold War era arms conflicts. The next big test, the OSCE Ministerial Council in December. Got to wait till December for the end of the Ukraine war? No. Foreign ministers will tackle the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East in December? All right, here's that Empire State manufacturing survey. Business activity declined modestly in New York State in September, according to the firms responding. The headline General Business Conditions Index drops 21 points to a negative 8.7. That is worse than was expected. This is the first negative reading since June. New orders and shipments fell sharply. Delivery times were steady. Supply availability worsened a bit. Inventories edged lower for a second consecutive month, and employment held steady. Listen to that, employment held steady. The pace of input price increases was still elevated, though slower than last month, while the pace of selling price increases remained moderate. Wait a minute. The pace of input prices increase was still elevated. It doesn't say they're going crazy, but slower than last month. The pace of selling price increases remained moderate. Capital spending plans continue to be soft. Firms expected some improvement in conditions in the months ahead, but optimism was subdued. Improving conditions in the coming months, but optimism subdued. All right, this morning, the CPE, the Truflation, 2.12 overnight, but 1.73 year over year, and the CPE equivalent, 2.56. President of the United States is sitting at 48 this morning, but the overnight was just under 53. That might be the Charlie Kirk impact, because you know what happened over the weekend? Millions and millions of people found out that the mainstream media had been lying to them about Charlie Kirk, because they kept wondering why all these people were all of a sudden, going crazy over Charlie around the world. So what did? They actually looked at the original videos of Charlie Kirk instead of trusting the mainstream media to give them the full story, instead of clips that are cut off here and here, or headlines that don't tell the nuance. So people did that, and they're all over X talking about, oh my gosh, I didn't realize what a great guy Charlie Kirk really was. Oh, I've decided to go back to church. Oh, I've decided to reconsider my faith. Oh, I've decided to become a Republican. Oh, that's the final straw with me and the Democratic Party. It's happening like crazy, and that might be why the President of the United States numbers are up this morning. Okay, so where is Tesla right now? It's going to be hard for me to find it because of a few things here. Let me see here. Everything's in my way here. All right, so we've got Tesla up 5.34% this morning. That would put us at 417.07. Again, as I mentioned, 428 was kind of the high. I would not be shocked that we at least get back to that 428 numbers sometime later today. The shares traded already today, 63.63 million. Holy mackerel. That's quite a day already, and we're only an hour in. Okay, what else here? We got the Dow Jones up 0.08%. We got the NASDAQ up 0.62. That'd be almost entirely Tesla. And the S&P up 0.42. We've got the Magnificent Seven all up except NVIDIA down 1.34 because the Chinese said that they're investigating NVIDIA over monopolistic practices. So that's what it's not very much, only 1.34, but there's a little bit of a downward on that. We've got the VIX at 15%. We have the Cathie Woods almost all higher, although high and then trending down. So that's interesting. They were up higher and now trending down. Let's see where the bonds are and see if that gives us any clues as to why that's going on. Because earlier the bonds were down. They were starting to look pretty good this morning. Let's see here. The bonds are still down, but only 1.5. They were doing better. We're at 4.045 on the 10-year. Okay, that's still, better than it was over the weekend. All right, we've got oil up 70 cents. We got natural gas but at 63.39. We got natural gas under $3, up 1.16% this morning. Gold, it says, is hovering near record highs, but it's up $10 this morning at 36.97. Silver down a little, down 0.25. Very, very high, though, at 42.73. And copper up a full percent at $4.64. Okay, that's the highest. That's the highest it has been recently. $4.65, actually. All right, the dollar is mixed this morning. Bitcoin down 668. I'm surprised a little bit at that. I kind of thought it'd be up. And Alphabet just reached the $1 trillion mark, the $3 trillion market cap. This now the fourth company to ever do that. Anyway, Bitcoin is at 115,000. And that is all of that I have for you this morning. Let's talk about later today. Larry Goldberg will be here, and then Brian White, as it would normally be the case on a Monday. Last night, of course, I did a video, the regular video, but I as much as I think you should go back and look at that, because it gave a whole estimate of what's going to happen this week, and I will put that card up there if you didn't already check it out. But the other thing I would have you do is look at yesterday morning's Phil Beisel video. Again, I'm going to keep telling, I might have to talk about this one all week because you missed it. You haven't looked at it yet. You need to go back and look at yesterday morning's Phil Beisel video as we talked about AI, because AI is the future, folks. I really can't say this enough. AI is the future. You want to keep your eye on the ball with regard to AI. We got the book coming out on AI, and what Phil and I talked about is really kind of core to what's happening with regard to the truth telling of AI, which is critical. Elon's talking about it all the time. Listen to what Elon's talking about. It's always going to be what the future is really all about. And what he's talking about is that AI has to be better at telling the truth, not just politically. It has to be better at telling the truth about physics. It has to be better at telling the truth about the Tesla stock. It's got to be a better predictor of the future. These are all, and the more that Elon concentrates on how to get it to tell the truth at all times for all reasons. Anyway, listen, Phil Beisel, there's the card. You want to check it out. Okay, last chance here to go back and look at Tesla. What is it doing at this exact moment? And where we are exactly right now is still sitting around 416, up 5% for the day. Okay, that's it for now. We will, of course, see you another couple times a day. It has been great talking to you.